We're kicking off with Raw, where the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonagh challenged the War Raiders for the World Tag Team titles, but during the match, JD would take a very scary bump. This brutal moment came after he landed badly from a moonsault to the outside, and Michael Cole, who was in prime position to see how bad the landing was, called for assistance. McDonagh was checked out by medical personnel and was able to continue the match, and even got a loud cheer from fans, despite being a heel, for his gutsy performance. Sean Ross Sapp reported on Twitter that Triple H asked a number of times if McDonagh was okay, as did Michael Hayes, showing that WWE's higher-ups were greatly concerned due to the impact it created for those who saw it live. McDonagh continued the match, and though he was able to stay on his feet, he looked like he wasn't quite sure where he was, which left everyone concerned. Michael Cole was also worried and shared his disbelief that McDonagh was able to get up and continue, adding that he took back everything he'd said bad about JD in the past. Instead, Cole said he respects McDonagh, who he called one of the toughest guys in WWE, and the match continued with Carlito getting involved in the closing minutes. Carlito pulled Eric off the apron and spat an apple in Ivar's face, which allowed for Dominic to send Ivar into the ropes and hit a 619. McDonagh followed with a moonsault, followed by a frog splash from Dirty Dom, but Eric was able to break up the pinfall in the nick of time. The War Raiders were able to retain after hitting War Machine on Mysterio, but the unfortunate big story from this match was on JD McDonagh and the concerning knock he took. In a fan-captured photo, it was seen that McDonagh collapsed the moment he got backstage, leaving fans worried about the Irish Ace. Brian Alvarez later reported that McDonagh was taken to the hospital following Raw and was treated for a concussion, and though this spot saw his neck whiplash against the announce desk, the main concern was his ribs. Alvarez finally concluded that he is out of danger, but is under observation. This was a nasty spot, and it's incredible that McDonagh not only stayed in the match, but continued to take bumps, and we hope to provide an update on his condition shortly. Sami Zayn arrived to Raw looking to earn his first victory over Drew McIntyre and continue his pursuit of his first WWE World Championship. As referenced by the commentary team, Zayn was 0-10 against McIntyre going into this match, giving Sami another reason to want a victory against his fierce rival. This was a physical bout that saw Zayn get busted open early on, and in the final stage of the match, Sami dodged a Claymore and got a roll-up, but that only scored him a 2. McIntyre was able to dodge the Helluva kick and scoop Zayn up, but needed to use the ropes to add leverage to his pinfall, scoring the tainted victory by cheating to win. This makes Sami 0-11 against Drew, who continued to attack Zayn after the match, only for Cody Rhodes to make the save in his hometown and clear McIntyre from the ring. Rhodes caught a sneak attack from Kevin Owens, and when McIntyre attacked again, Zayn hit a Helluva kick but accidentally struck Rhodes in the face. McIntyre and Kevin Owens laughed as they observed the situation, and this was the latest sign that a heel turn may be coming for the underdog. It was on last week's Raw that Kevin Owens planted the seeds that Zayn could help him win the WWE title at the Royal Rumble in his upcoming ladder match with Rhodes. Even before striking Cody this week, Zayn had a short fuse throughout the show, even telling CM Punk that "I'm a WrestleMania main eventer and you're not" during a backstage segment. After that interaction, Zayn ran into Karrion Kross, who has relished in winning people over to the dark side, just as he did with The Miz and The New Day last year. Sami Zayn was not having any of what Kross had to say, though neither did Xavier Woods at first, and we've seen how that ended up, and Kross urged Zayn to listen to his friends who care. Kross was planting the idea that helping Kevin Owens is the right thing to do, and when Cody Rhodes approached Sami, Zayn wasn't just shocked to see him, but he immediately walked away. It's worth noting that Sami's alleged accidental kick on Rhodes is the second time in 2 weeks this has happened, as Zayn kicked Seth Rollins last week on Raw. Owens was proud of his friend, believing the kick was intentional, and though the pair didn't leave together, Sami did leave shortly after his longtime friend. This left Rhodes alone in the ring, and after this, Rhodes cut an in-ring promo about the ladder match at the Royal Rumble, and is looking forward to putting his feud with Owens behind him. CM Punk interrupted Cody, and the pair cut a golden promo to end Raw, with Punk saying he's the one to end Rhodes' reign as undisputed WWE champion. Rhodes seemed different in this promo, and both men felt more grounded and real than what you'd expect from the two, who are typically larger-than-life characters on TV. Punk recalled a promise to Dusty Rhodes to look after Cody, while Rhodes recalled breaking into WWE and wanting to chase CM Punk, who always seemed a step ahead in terms of success. Now it's Punk who's chasing Rhodes, but Cody finished by saying he wants Punk to win the Rumble so fans can see that the best in the world is not the best in the world anymore. This segment served as a major tease for what fans could see at WrestleMania 41, but after the show, Carmelo Hayes made a statement in Atlanta by blindsiding Cody Rhodes. Hayes sprinted to the ring to attack the WWE champion and declared himself for the Men's Royal Rumble match before grabbing a table from under the ring. Rhodes fought back and landed across Rhodes before powerbombing Hayes straight through the table, sending a message of his own to any would-be challengers ahead of the Royal Rumble. This week has seen WWE lock down one of the biggest free agents on the market as Jordynne Grace is officially signed on a 3-year contract. John Ross Sapp of Fightful reports that Grace flew to the WWE Performance Center right after TNA Genesis, where she was spotted on Tuesday, January 21st. The Juggernaut was reportedly finalizing signing with WWE at the time, though Sapp revealed that WWE reached out to her weeks before she finished her time with TNA. Once her last match, a loss to Tessa Blanchard at Genesis, happened, WWE moved quickly to sign Grace and didn't want any other promotion to swoop in under their noses. Grace has canceled an independent appearance for this weekend in Texas, which only adds fuel to the speculation that her WWE debut as a superstar will be very soon. The newly signed superstar will be in Indianapolis this weekend, the same city hosting the Royal Rumble, leaving fans to speculate on a surprise appearance in the Women's Rumble match. The real question now is whether Grace will land on the main roster or continue her journey in NXT first, and either way, her arrival will shake up the women's division in a major way. Do you think Jordynne Grace will enter the Royal Rumble this weekend? How should WWE use her now that she's officially signed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We've got unfortunate news from Dakota Kai now, as the Damage Control member has been officially sidelined once again. PW Insider has confirmed that Kai suffered a concussion during a recent tag team match on Raw, which saw her team with Io Sky to face Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. It's believed the injury happened after a rough landing from a missile dropkick, though this has yet to be confirmed, and Kai was noticeably absent backstage from this week's Raw. WWE's concussion protocol is strict, and she won't be cleared until she passes an evaluation, meaning that her status for this weekend's Royal Rumble is in serious doubt. There's no telling when Kai will be back, and this is a major blow for Damage Control, who could have benefited from having Kai around in the 8th annual Women's Rumble match. With Kai out of action, this will shake up plans WWE had in place, and should WWE keep her on TV despite the injury, or is it better to hold off on her return? Drop your thoughts below. The LWO was with Rey Mysterio as he prepared to face Xavier Woods, and Michael Cole teased having some news about Zelina Vega and the faction. Xavier Woods' heel promo was met with merciless boos from the Atlanta crowd, and it was then revealed that Vega had been sent to SmackDown as part of the transfer window. This Raw was Vega's final time as a member of the LWO, at least for now, but why did WWE move the former tag team champion to the blue brand? One idea WWE is reportedly considering is reuniting Vega with Andrade, as the pair worked well together in NXT and on the main roster after being called up. With Andrade on SmackDown, it's an obvious move for Vega to be shifted to the blue brand if a reunion with the former NXT champion is indeed the plan. Another idea WWE is considering is for Vega to align with a different AEW alum, namely her own husband Malachi Black, who is set to leave AEW if he hasn't already. Black's status with the All Elite promotion has fueled speculation and reports that he could return to WWE under Triple H's regime, and if so, he could be aligned with his wife. Black certainly did well under Triple H in NXT, and with the prospect of getting to spend plenty of time with his wife on the road, a return to SmackDown could be coming for the Dutch wrestler. When announcing Vega's move to SmackDown, Michael Cole confirmed that the window allowing superstars to switch brands will officially close once the Royal Rumble PLE ends. Since opening on the December 6th SmackDown, the transfer window has seen some major shifts, with Bayley, Logan Paul, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory all moving to Raw. SmackDown has received Damian Priest, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Zelina Vega, and the Wyatt Six in dramatic changes to both of WWE's main roster shows. How these superstars fare on their new shows, that remains to be seen, but the roster have just a few more days before the transfer window officially closes. Seth Rollins kicked off Raw and spoke about winning this weekend's Men's Royal Rumble match and discussed facing either Cody, Rhodes, or Gunther at WrestleMania. This brought out Ring General, who told Rhodes he hoped Seth would challenge him, and Logan Paul then returned to Raw to heavy boos from the State Farm Arena audience. Paul vowed to win the Royal Rumble and claimed he's on the ground floor of his career with unlimited upward trajectory, but the champion threatened to wipe the grin off his face. This was an interesting start that set up a potential Rollins-Gunther WrestleMania showdown, as well as Logan Paul possibly entering the title picture. A Paul-Gunther match would create a scenario where the heel champion would be the clear fan favorite though, so a singles match between them is unlikely. While a triple threat is also possible, the most likely option is for Rollins to take on Gunther one-on-one at WWE's grandest stage this April. On Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso failed to capture the World Heavyweight title from Gunther, but despite this, he was in high spirits during this week's Raw. Jey entered alongside rapper Quavo, and after taking his time to soak in the fan response and share a yeet with Quavo in the crowd, he addressed his loss to the Ring General. Uso admitted that Gunther was too good for him last week, but is confident he can still beat him, and declared he'll challenge Gunther this April should he win the Royal Rumble. Jey has failed to win the World Heavyweight title against 3 world champions, those being Gunther, Seth Rollins, and Damian Priest, and also failed to dethrone Roman Reigns 3 times. Of those 3 matches with his cousin, 2 were in 2020 and the third came at SummerSlam 2023, and he'll be part of this weekend's star-studded Rumble match. In addition to Rollins and Reigns, the match will include LA Knight, Logan Paul, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, CM Punk, and John Cena. Uso, the #1 entrant in last year's Rumble, has yet to win the match, and the odds are long given that the current pool includes 6 former winners as well as a 2-time winner in Cena. Nobody can deny Jay's popularity, but in a pool of some of the biggest names of WWE of the past decade and beyond, many are struggling to see him as a potential Rumble winner. Despite this, Jay was immensely confident during Raw, and would you like to see Jey Uso win the Rumble and enter the world title picture at WrestleMania 41? Let us know down below. Paul Heyman was on Raw to announce what's next for Roman Reigns, and in addition to making a massive reveal, he also revealed a new nickname for himself. Heyman declared himself the one behind the one and repeated the moniker several times to make sure fans knew what he was talking about. Heyman hyped up Roman Reigns' involvement in this weekend's Royal Rumble match, his first since 2020, and spoke of Reigns' upcoming battle being one versus all. He called Reigns the biggest star on the planet and called out the 29 Roman Reigns wannabes who will be in the match before being interrupted by Drew McIntyre. The Scotsman took credit for the Bloodline's success, saying his elimination of Reigns in the 2020 Royal Rumble was the catalyst for Reigns to become the head of the table. McIntyre also took credit for bringing Heyman back to relevancy and, in a display of pure arrogance, asked for a thank you from the wise man. Drew didn't stop there as he vowed to toss Heyman's boy out of the Royal Rumble, but clarified that he wasn't talking about Roman Reigns, but rather CM Punk. This was a great tease for arguably the most star-studded men's Rumble match in years, and it'll be interesting to see how Heyman's allegiance to both Punk and Roman Reigns plays out. With Punk's favor continuing to hang over the head of Paul Heyman, could the best in the world cash in this weekend in Indianapolis? And if so, what will that mean for the OTC? As previously reported, Alexa Bliss was set to make her long-awaited return to WWE TV during the January 13th Raw in San Jose before WWE pulled the plug at the last minute. WWE planned for Bliss to return under her existing contract, which has been extended due to her time away, but Bliss was seeking a brand new contract with better terms. WWE refused to give in, which resulted in all creative plans for the goddess being canceled, as well as the Wyatt Six being moved to SmackDown without her. Sources who spoke to PW Insider Elite shared that WWE had plans for Bliss to quietly show up to the San Jose Raw and kickstart her return, likely as part of the Wyatt Six. That all changed once talks between WWE and Bliss reached an impasse, and the situation escalated when Bliss removed all references to WWE from his social media on January 14th. This was just one day after she was supposed to return and was a clear message that her current relationship with WWE is rocky, with no resolution currently in sight. The Royal Rumble is a night built for returns, but Bliss isn't expected to be a part of the show, and there's no sign WWE will back down and grant her a new contract. Whether this is just a negotiating tactic or the start of a lengthy standoff, that remains to be seen, but WWE is not giving Bliss any leverage ahead of whenever she returns. Do you think WWE should give Bliss a new deal, or is she making a mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Last May, Asuka underwent surgery that has kept the Empress of Tomorrow on the shelf ever since, but now plans are coming together for her return. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp reports that creative plans have been pitched, though not every idea that the creative team has come up with have stuck. Returning in a tag team match was pitched but ultimately shot down, and there's no word on whether Asuka has resumed training at the WWE's Performance Center in Orlando. As of this time, WWE's creative team have not included Asuka in this weekend's Women's Royal Rumble, a match that she won on this day 7 years ago. Asuka's return to TV will happen, but WWE aren't quite sure how they want to bring her back, as the company wants to do justice to one of their most decorated female champions. Even with the news of the LWO losing a member, Rey Mysterio was on fire in front of the Atlanta crowd on Raw against the New Day's Xavier Woods. Woods faced the Hall of Famer in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, a fact that took Kathy Kelly by surprise, but this was a bad homecoming for the former King of the Ring. Woods was pumped and ready to avenge Kofi Kingston's loss to Rey from last week, and had even invited his family to the show to see him in action. Amid this back-and-forth battle, Woods looked like he could pull off an upset, but things took a turn for him when his family finally entered the arena and took their seats. Though happy at first to see his family, Woods' demeanor changed when they revealed their New Day Sucks shirt, and both members of the New Day were annoyed. Mysterio took advantage by dragging Woods into the ring and hitting the 619, giving the Hall of Famer his second win over the New Day in as many weeks. Things somehow went from bad to worse for Woods after the match, as his family celebrated with Rey, making this a homecoming that the New Day member would rather soon forget. More from Raw as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez battled women's tag team champions Bianca Belair and Naomi in non-title action ahead of tonight's title match on WWE NXT. That match will see Belair and Naomi face Shakara Jackson and Lash Legend, but on Raw, Belair seemingly had the match won when she delivered the kiss of death to Morgan. That was until Dominic Mysterio provided a distraction and the EST wiped him out at ringside while Naomi delivered a split-legged moonsault. Rodriguez ran interference to drop Naomi on the apron, allowing for Morgan to score the tainted victory over the reigning women's tag team champions. This was a big win for the heels and may not be the last, as PW Insider reports that there's been a lot of talk about WWE giving Morgan and Rodriguez a major push on the road to WrestleMania 41. Outside of an occasional mistimed spot or two, this match was fine, but the outcome was the most important part, as Morgan and Rodriguez now seem poised to challenge for the tag team titles. And with Jade Cargill set to return to confront her attacker, believed by fans to be either Belair or Naomi, WWE could be plotting a title change in the near future. If so, this would be an effective way to keep Liv and Raquel involved in a title program, essentially assuring that the two Judgment Day stars have a place on the WrestleMania card. It was just 2 weeks ago that Penta arrived in WWE, and now the masked wrestler has his sights set on winning his first ever men's Royal Rumble match. In a video vignette on Raw, Penta declared himself for the Rumble match and vowed that he will get his WrestleMania moment this April in Las Vegas. Penta's booking in WWE has been exceptional so far, and how should WWE book Penta in the Rumble match? Will he make it to the Final Four? Share your thoughts in the comments. Backstage, The New Day spoke with Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser, who also shunned Woods and Kingston, but this segment also teased a potential tag team of Dunne and Kaiser. Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria declared herself for the Royal Rumble before American Maid arrived with Chad Gable declaring that Ivy Nile will win the title. Alpha Academy were filming a TikTok video before being confronted by American Maid in a feud that will seemingly never end. Cenat received an entrance on Raw, and Pat McAfee was invited to the Royal Rumble, though will he take a spot from a full-time superstar in the men's Rumble match? Time will tell. In a backstage segment, Bayley teased going after Rhea Ripley if she wins the Royal Rumble, but a face-to-face with Io Sky showed that there's still tension with the former Damage Control allies. And that was Raw. And do you think this Royal Rumble Go Home episode delivered? Share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section.